I'm Jim Hagler, 70 years old, farming in the 10-mile community of Meigs County, and soon to be a switchgrass farmer. Our operation is approximately 70% beef cattle and 30% corn, wheat, and soybeans. That represents about half of our available land. The other half of our available land is in a sustained yield timber production program, producing both hardwood and plantation pine. We have about 3,500 acres here in the community. We're going to be trying 40 acres as an experiment to see whether this has a future for us or not. I attend the Tennessee Agricultural Production Association meetings twice a year, and about a year ago I heard a presentation by Ken Goddard that got me interested in switchgrass. He was telling us what the status of the new facility in Von Orr and what the objectives were. I started thinking about it, and in our winter meeting this year, Dr. Sam Jackson made a very interesting presentation, told about what was going on. That was right after the startup of the plant, when he told us that TVA burns 30 million tons of coal in Tennessee out of the 42 million tons a year that they burn. If just a little bit of that could be blended with biofuel, such as pelleted switchgrass, it would definitely have a positive effect on their emissions problems, and it could develop a tremendous market for Tennessee agriculture for us to use land that is somewhat marginal, not good enough for corn, wheat, and soybean production, and adequate for pasture production, but a possible alternative to using it for pasture production. Well, I would think that maybe the way to evaluate this is the same way that we did. Look at the potential for this crop if these markets develop in the biofuel area. And if that is the case, there will be a need for many more acres in Tennessee. Consequently, it would be a good idea now, if you have a marginal field that isn't producing very well in pasture, to experiment with it and see if it works in your operation. That's what we're trying to find out. We have no idea whether it will or it won't, but we thought that we should be ready in the event that this market really balloons into something that will produce a demand for a lot more acres than are presently signed up in the program. What we're looking for out of this is a cash income. All of the people from UT and Genera that we have dealt with have been just wonderful people who give you straight answers and seem to be highly competent in their fields, and the sort of people that we can rely on for guidance. If I hadn't felt that way about the people, I wouldn't have gotten involved. Here we have a 12-foot bush hog sod drill that has a set of coulters up front that till the soil slightly, a set of coulters in the rear then that the seed drops down between, and a press wheel at the very end that will actually press the very small switchgrass seeds into the ground. This is a spray coop, a self-propelled sprayer, and it will be used in the event that all the tillage that we have done hasn't destroyed everything that will come back and compete with the switchgrass. So hopefully we won't have a problem with volunteer fescue or the broom sage coming back. In the event that it does, we will go back in with the sprayer and spray chemical that'll be recommended by our partners at UT, and hopefully kill out the competitive weeds and grasses and let the little switchgrass come on until it eventually overruns all the rest and we don't have the problem any longer. You are looking at a site that theoretically, it was a fescue pasture, which had turned into about 75% broom sage and was going to have to be re-sowed to be a productive pasture again. And now, as you can see, one of our problems is going to be getting rid of the fescue. The broom sage is pretty easy. Once you physically tear it out, it doesn't really come back, but the fescue keeps on hanging on. With all the water that we have had recently, this has already been disked twice, It will have to be disked at least a couple more times, and then I will not be surprised if we don't have to bring in the sprayer that you looked at earlier and do a final control job with it. As you can see from the nature of the soil, the biggest problem that we are having here in getting this site prepared is rock removal.